Hello guys, in this video what we are going to learn is we are going to learn some basic simplification rule which we need to obey when you are minimizing the expression using the K Map minimization technique, right? So first we'll try to remember these rules. Later on we'll apply this rule into minimization function. The first foremost rule is you need to understand is in K Map to perform the minimization operation we need to group the either number of SOP function. SOP function means ones or POS function means 0. As we discussed earlier, SOP means representation for the output as 1. POS means representation of the output for 0, right? So see that what is the rule we have to do is when you are grouping the either we can group the SOP function means we can group the ones or we can group the zeros, right? The rule one is either we can group the SOP variables or we can group the POS values. But you should not combine the SOP with POS. What is meaning of this one? You should not combine SOP with the POS. That is the first rule, right? We will see what is the meaning of overlapping, right? Then second one, so we have to right. If you understand this one, we can only create a group whose number of cells can be represented in the power of 2. So what is the meaning of this one? We have binary formula r power 0, r power 1, r power 2, r power 3 for integer part, right? This direction, right? Binary value means 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3 and so on. What is the meaning of this one? 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 something. So what is the meaning of this one means if you want to group the value either SOP function or POS function in the K map, either you can group the one group or you can go for the two groups or you can go for the four groups. Group means grouping of the ones or grouping of the zeros, or we can group the 8 ones at a time or we can group the 16 ones at a time. But if you try to do like this, then completely wrong. If you try to group 3 ones at a time, then it is wrong, right? Why it is wrong means, right, the rule is that, right, cells can be represented in the power of 2 only, right? Either we can group the value 1 group, 2 group, 4 grouping of ones, 8 grouping of ones, 16 grouping of ones, but not 3 grouping of ones or 5 grouping of ones or 6 grouping of ones, 7 grouping of ones, something. Right, first rule we have understand is we can group the only SOP function or we can group the POS function. Means we can group the ones or separately we can group the zeros, but should not be combination of both the things. Next, rule number 3 we understand is that if you want to perform the groups, we need to follow the power of the 2. Means 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, something like this. Now see that, try to understand why it is wrong. This image is wrong, this image is correct. Why it is wrong, why it is correct, try to understand. See that as we told that in the rule number 3, we can create the group, right? We can perform the grouping either in terms of the 1 variable, 2 variables, 4 ones or 8 ones or 6 ones, right? What they have done blunder mistake is that they grouped the 3 ones. So that is the mistake here. Here they grouped the 2 ones, that is absolutely fine. But here what is the mistake? 3 grouping is not allowed, right, as per the rule number 3. But why it is correct? Here it is grouping, right? Now we will understand what is the meaning of overlapping. What is the rule number 2 we have studied? Overlapping is allowed. What is the meaning of overlapping is allowed means, see that first we have completed this group, right? This is already, this one is completed, right? So again, if it is required for grouping, right, if it is required for grouping, again we can start from here also. This is what we called as the overlapping, right? The overlapping concept is allowed in the K map. That is what rule number 2, right? Remember that the overlapping concept is allowed in the K map. Then this is how we need to group the variables. Then one more rule one is if you want to group, only group the SOP function, nothing but grouping of the ones, or if you want to group only POS, just group the zeros, right, but not combination of zeros and ones, right? Now see that this is an important point that we need to understand. There is a lot of logic behind this. Group can be only either horizontal or vertical. We cannot create a groups of diagonal any other shape. Now what is the meaning of this one is, what is the cell value? 0, 1, 0, 1, right? So what is the meaning of this one? 0, 0. What is the meaning of this one? 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. Now what you are trying to do? you are grouping this value, right? As we discussed earlier, if you want to perform the minimization, what we have to do, it need to obey the cell adjacency. What is the meaning of cell adjacency? If you are comparing with one group with the another group, it should only differ by one position. Now we'll see this value, right? So what we are trying to group, right? Here they have mentioned we cannot do vertically, but what is the reason behind this, right? That we have to understand. So what is the trying we are grouping? We are trying to group with 0 0 with the 1 1, means we are trying to group 0 0 with the 1 1. See that how many changes are there? One change is there, again one more is change is there. How many changes are? Two changes. What is the meaning of cell adjacency? Only one change. What will be happen? It is obeying cell adjacency. We can able to implement the minimization operation. The ultimate aim of for the studying K map is the minimization purpose, right? Yes or no? Right? Now see, if you are grouping these like this, then we are not getting the cell adjacency. Suppose for example, now try to understand. Suppose this value is something like this, right? Here is 1, here it is 1. Now you tell me, if I group like this, is it correct or wrong? Right? Why it is correct? The reason is that what is the cell variable? 0 0. What is the cell variable? 0 1. No, just perform the 0 0 0 1. Just perform the comparison one bit with the another bit. No change. Here one change. How many changes are there? One change. One changes means we can able to group this operation. The actual meaning is that we cannot able to, this is the actual meaning, cell adjacency, but they have mentioned that horizontally only we can create, vertically we cannot able to create, right? This is the important rule to be understand, right? Now see that what is another rule is that, then fifth rule is that each group should be large as possible, right? Large as possible means the moment if you group the maximum number of ones, the final output expression will be in terms of the minimum number of the variable, right? So this is also correct. Here we are grouping the 2 overlapping is allowed. This is also correct. But why it is means, here if you are finding the logic expression, let it be, if it is, we can implement by using of the 5 logic gate for example. But if you group with the maximum number of variables, the output can be represented is less than 5 logic gates, right? Always remember that we need to group the number as one as maximum as possible. So what is the maximum value here? 4 variable K map, right? What is the maximum value? Number of cell is 16 group. First you try to identify, is there 16 ones are there? If not, then go for 8. If not, go for 4. If not, go for 2. Then finally go for 1. Right? If you have the 4 possibility, then what is the need for going 2 possibility? Right? What is the rule? If you group the maximum number of ones, then expression will be reduced. This is one more important point to be understand, right? So these are the some basic rules we need to understand. In next class we will try to reduce the functions.